Next one. Okay, the last one we're doing today is from Relationship Advice, the subreddit Relationship Advice, and it's by Reddit user ThrowRAwhoknowu. Oh yeah, I think ThrowRAwhoknowu. Okay, long distance for 3 weeks. My 24 female girlfriend and I, 24 also female, asked me if she could receive oral. Interesting. Hi, I just wanted some outside advice and perspective on this, especially from anyone who has done long distance. Thank you in advance if you read it. So, quick background, my girlfriend and I have been together for 3 years now, officially together for 2. We are very serious, love each other very much, and are wanting to make a life together and get married eventually. She recently moved out of state very far. I helped her move all her stuff, and we are 3 weeks into a long distance relationship after always being together for 2+ years. It's been difficult, but we talk every day, are trying to communicate more and make plans to see each other as often as we can. The plan was for me to move out there in less than a year. I have a house and a stable job here, so I have a lot to figure out before then. But I have been wanting to make it work because we want to live together and start a life together. I recently got a promotion, which means I might not move out there for another year. Even though my girlfriend was very happy and proud of me, it made her sad to think that it will take longer for me to move. She had moved really quickly, like in the span of 2 months. And like I said, I have other commitments, so I couldn't get with her right away. We were on the phone today and she asked me, how would I feel if she was to receive oral? She explains that it would be just physical and that she's not looking for anything romantic because she loves me and no one can compare to me and our relationship. I guess it'd be more like a sexual release because she says I won't be out there for a long time and we won't be able to satisfy each other as often like before. I get where she's coming from, but I don't like it. The thought of her being with anyone else, even if it's just physical, makes me sad and a little angry. I told her that it hurts me because she brings it up so early and I haven't even thought of talking to another girl, let alone having sex. She says her bringing it up doesn't mean she doesn't want it right now or that she's even looking, but she just wants to see how I'd feel about it. I think part of what bothers me is that even if it'll be a year, I can wait for her. I'm not looking to satisfy anything because it wouldn't be the same. And it kind of hurts that she feels differently. I know she's emphasizing that it's just physical, and for her, receiving it is somehow less than having sex with someone. Like she wouldn't mind me receiving oral, but would if I went out to find a girl and give her head. She says there's no romantic emotional connection, but to me it's different. But I also feel like I'm stopping her in a way, and I let her know that I'm afraid that she will end up resenting me for it later. I trust her and know she won't do anything behind my back, but she says there's no winner here. Am I being insecure? Like, is it normal for long distance people to compromise in this? Do I have a right to feel this way, or should I be more open? Is receiving sex not a big deal? Any advice would be helpful as we are going to talk about it more later. TLDR, long distance girlfriend asked me how I would feel about receiving oral and I do not like it. I can feel the energy coming from you. So what's your initial feeling?
I mean, I don't think she's an asshole to feel this way, definitely, because it isn't something that she's expecting, that it's such an early on. The long distance is only 3 weeks, even though they are together for 2 years, So I don't think she's an asshole for sure to feel that way. But I don't think the girlfriend who moved is also a bad person here, that she's asking because she have her needs, and she wants to be satisfied.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, maybe in this modern world, maybe we can have modern conversations and talk about it. Like, what do you feel? It's one of the conversation that we talked about before, that, oh, would you consider like if someone watching porns and do the deeds, does it mean that it's cheating? You know, and
Right.
I'm just trying to feel like, would it be the same as this? Would we consider this as cheating? Or maybe can we advise her, maybe she buys sex toy and try to do that first? Or maybe she did already and it doesn't help, you know,
Right.
to satisfy her in that way. So that's why she's exploring another option. But if I was the poster, I will already feel insecure about this relationship.
Yeah.
You know, I feel bad for her and bad for the girlfriend who moved, that I think she just want to have an honest and straightforward question, you know. But yeah, too bad that you brought it up. But I think, yeah, not that she doesn't trust her, but you already have that fear that it could happen.
Right. I mean the main thing that comes to mind when people talk about long distance relationship is that lack of physical intimacy. And so obviously that's an issue, and you know, everyone has different sex drives, and like you said, everyone has different definitions of cheating. You know, sometimes people, for example, if they have open relationships, having sex with other couples or other people is no big deal, but that emotional aspect, like not falling in love, like that's why she's emphasizing it's just oral or something like that, you know. But part of me feels like, God, 3 weeks is a little bit early to bring up that. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
dude, it's like 3 weeks. It's
But I don't
like,
know
you
their
bring that up.
dynamic, you know, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like her girlfriend has a high sex drive, right? I think she mentioned something like that about her like not satisfying her as often anymore because of the long distance, and yeah, I feel.
I think it's one of the challenge that they need to
Mhm.
find, like what
Right.
would be it, you
What's the
know.
boundary?
But
Yeah.
I don't think for the poster, I don't think that open relationship is an option.
They don't seem as comfortable with it.
Yeah, I don't think she feels comfortable. I mean, maybe the other might be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that I mean, for me, I would maybe, if long distance would be a problem and we cannot have that intimacy, maybe and I mean, she's sharing here with her work at the moment that she also got promoted. So it would take her a while to even moved
Yeah.
to be with her. So maybe it's a better idea if you just take some times apart.
Yeah, which is code word for.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I will give her credit to the girlfriend that I think that when it comes to long distance relationship, a lot of times it comes to that point where there's that someone's gonna say the code word, which is kind of like, hey, I think we should take a break, or you know, something like that, which is kind of like, give me permission to like, you know, fulfill like fulfill my sexual desire or physical desires for intimacy, and then but leave that kind of like door open that like we can come back to this later, you know. So I will give her credit that like she's just being straightforward. There's no need to like beat around the bush and saying like, hey, you know, I have needs, and what would your feelings be if I were to, you know, like, I think she's in her mind, the way she's phrasing it, the girlfriend, she's trying to be like, what's a way that I can say this in like most disarm. It's like, it's just oral, you know, I'm not, there's no love, no feelings involved. I mean, that's a hard conversation
Maybe
to have.
maybe she did open relationship before,
Mm-hmm.
or she might have friends with benefit
Right.
that
Could be.
she thinks that it's doable.
Mm-hmm.
And while the poster never done it before, so
Mhm.
she doesn't see or understand how it works, you know. And it's
Right.
not for everyone.
Mhm.
Still, like, I mean, I heard some friend of a friend that they're doing open relationship,
Whoa.
but I'm like, I can't, like, this thing can't be shared, you know. I
Mhm.
mean, maybe I'm stuck with that mindset, but I
Right.
don't think that I like to do that.
I
Just
don't
an
know.
FYI,
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I mean, as someone that I'm not religious now, but grew up in a religious family and attended like church growing up, I would say I was a little bit on the conservative side as far as like sex and stuff goes growing up. So for me, I think deep down ingrained, it just seems like it's hard for me to separate sex and emotion. So I think that's just such a scary thing, especially if you're, let alone being in having an open relationship, but you guys live together and you're just kind of like, yeah, you date your people, I date my people, whatever. But to be long distance and just be like, I think for me, I'm just putting myself in that perspective. If you're having that open relationship, it's kind of like I'm just imagining you come home from a bad day and like you want to talk to your girlfriend and it's like she's not picking up, and then the thought comes in your head like, well, is she with someone else, and like, what are they doing, and stuff like that. And like, I think we, like in the last episode, we talked about like that deprioritization. Even if she's like, this guy means nothing, or this person that she's with doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, the fact is, like, if you're calling and she's like, they're in the deed, or like if they're doing whatever they're doing, it's probably she's not going to pick up or something like that. So I think it's just that's really tough. But at the same time, I know there are people that date, sex workers or like porn stars, whatever, and they can separate sex and like emotion and relationships. There's a relationship sex and then there's like work sex. I couldn't do it. But at the same time, I think growing up in the US, we even like separating nudity. I think nudity is seen as it's nudity and sexuality. Sex is like very linked. Where I know in like European countries, like nudity is like seeing a naked body doesn't always equate to like sex, or it's like a sexual thing. It's like kind of like it's just a human, it's just skin. For some people, like I know that. I talked to this European girl once, and she's like, yeah, sometimes I'll get out of the shower and I'll have like a towel on around my waist, but I'll walk around, the house, and like my brother and, my dad are there and stuff like that. I'm like, ooh, like if my sister or like my, like my mom did that, I'd be like, it would be so uncomfortable for me. But they're like, why? It's like, you're weird. You're the one, like, why would you look at your sister naked and think sex?
It's their norms.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think, and I get it. Like, I mean, I would like to think that way, because it's like, you're right. It's like a human body. Like, why do you have to see like, boobs and be like sex? It seems kind of a little bit immature or like perverse in a way, like, that you cannot unlink those two. But I don't know, maybe it's a hardwire, but I feel like,
I mean, like, it's probably the culture,
yeah, like,
and how you grow up. Like,
yeah,
it just, you used to that, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
it's just a body, you don't think that it's, you need,
for them,
yeah, it's this different point of view and how you're being, because she was raised there, so
Yeah.
it's like, oh, she knows that how it is, like it's just something. Yeah, so it's just different ways of how we grew up.
Yeah. Like I know that when I went to Italy, on the TV at night, on like like between like commercials, there might be a commercial and like they might just have like a topless lady in the
Yeah,
commercial.
I remember that
And
too,
I
Sean.
was like, whoa, like cool. No, but then for me, it's like we go to like see a movie with my family, and there's like a nude scene. It's not even like a sex scene. It's like just like, maybe like I don't know, something happens and
Like
they're having
topless,
yeah, the
blah,
topless
blah.
girl in the movie, and it's like I'm with my parents. I'm like, oh my god, this is awkward.
I know, and it's so odd because, yeah, it just recently happened to me when we were like watching one of the movies, and I'm like, it
Yeah.
just feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I
So
don't, it's just different, really culture, because I
Right.
think that I'm like, oh my God, I feel so uncomfortable. I just want to exit myself and just go walk out
yeah.
and then come back.
So I think that for her to feel like the asshole for feeling this way, no, I think everyone has their own feelings about intimacy and like what counts as cheating and stuff like that. And so no, not the asshole the way. I give props to the girlfriend. At first I was kind of like didn't like the girlfriend, because I was like I like, for me, I would feel offended if it's 3 weeks into long distance and it's like you're bringing this up. I'm like, damn, my initial reaction was like, geez, like, why are you kidding me? But I will give props to the girlfriend for opening that line of communication, saying that, hey, like, I'm not saying I'm going to do it now, but like, eventually this might be an issue for me. Like, let's start talking about it now. Like, where are our lines? Where are the boundaries?
Yeah.
So, okay, give props for that. I mean,
it's also a good, not warning, but as a good sign that she addressed this. So the girlfriend aware that, oh, maybe I should put an effort just to fly in, or visit her more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we keep that physical connection between us.
Yeah, like she now knows that like this physical intimacy is a need in a relationship. Yeah. But then I don't know. For me, I feel like, you know, there's always that question of like, what happens if I get paralyzed? What's gonna happen? Are you gonna like, you know, just start like sleeping with other people? And I guess that doesn't change. Like people's needs are still their needs, and that's a conversation they need to have.
But maybe you also compromise in different ways, you know, that like, oh, I'm not
self pleasure.
yeah, I mean, you're not. No, I mean, also, like, for example, like, God forbid, if you're paralyzed, maybe you would be saying to your partner that, okay, because of my physical condition, I couldn't be able to perform. So in this case, I would allow this. I'm more accept that this you can do blah, blah, blah. You know, I mean, it might come with a condition. So it might be case by case.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. So kind of side note from that then. If you're...
am I in trouble?
No. Okay. But I'm just thinking, so that's an extreme case, you're paralyzed, right? And the other person's not getting fulfilled physical, like intimacy wise. What happens if there's a relationship where someone has a much lower sex drive and the other person maybe feels like they're not getting fulfilled in that department? I don't think that's like an open, like, that's not saying like they're allowed to cheat, right? You know?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
They're
So
not.
I mean,
if that level is mismatch, so either like one person have to adjust or you figure it out that this is not compatible.
But what if it's like after marriage, or like, you know, what if someone's like sex drive dips, like drops after they get married, you know, or like they're...
Then what? Just get divorced.
Oh yeah, okay, just get divorced. True.
No, I mean, of course, first you need to try to work it out, you know, like talk, communication, of course. But I mean, I think that sometimes people need to understand that getting a divorce is not the worst thing in the world.
That's true, you know,
because I think that like getting a divorce, it's better than cheating. So it's fine. Like maybe our interest shifted. We grow apart. So maybe some level has been, you know, like not adjust, but change, you know, like for whatever reasons. So if it's not, because like what you say that our emotional or our drive or our interest is also changed over time. So I think that some of these are also like changed no matter what status you with anyone's, like your friends, your parents, or your partner. So it's just a matter of like just talk, communicate. If you try your best or not even try, you know, and like if you guys know that it's dead end, then just close it.
True. I know a lot more stories where people say that the parents got divorced and become like friends later, you know? They become friends. Like in the long run they were able to like become friends again, you know? Versus I know a lot of other stories where couples wait to get married and they end up like hating each other or like, you know, just like nobody's happy, like the house feels uncomfortable, there's bad energy, and like, you know. So I think there's that stigma of like don't divorce. I think a lot of times people, it almost seems like they'd rather cheat than get divorced, which is kind of sad. And yeah, I think sometimes there's this really negative stigma on divorce. I'm not saying I like it, it's a good thing, but at the same time it's like sometimes divorce is the answer.
Yeah.
You know. Okay. So the first comment was from Vinny Capistrano, cool name. Said, quote, "Is it okay if I cheat on you?" And he says, "You're not being insecure. This is not normal in typical monogamous relationships. Your feelings are valid. If your partner is receiving oral sex is a big deal to you, then that's what matters, not how other people would respond to that. In my opinion, this relationship is probably over. She only made it 3 weeks without getting her vag eaten. If she wants to get her vag eaten badly enough, she'll get it eaten, whether or not she tells you. And she doesn't feel like it's a big deal, then she'll use that to justify not telling you." And so the original poster replies, "Yeah, she's always been more free-spirited towards sex, while I'm more reserved. Don't get me wrong, I had my days when sex was just sex, but I've changed a lot in my view of it. I think that's where the insecurity comes from. If that makes sense. It feels a little naive that I would expect her to wait like me. Oh, sad, but
she's so sweet.
yeah. Okay, I'm glad it went that way. So, yeah, I think that it comes down to communication, and it comes down to establishing what other people's values are, what their needs are. And for example, some people might be fine with an open relationship, and then the poster, I mean, maybe she was before, but now she's not, or she's looking for something more serious.
Yeah.
So I would say that, I mean, you can try to work it out, but I would say that, I think you need to be honest with yourself.
Yep.
You can love someone. You can definitely love someone. You can definitely love someone and be with the right person at the wrong time. And it's not work. It's not the situation. The stars aren't lining up for you guys. So I would say that be honest with yourself. I'm glad that the other person's being honest. I'm hoping she hasn't done anything yet, and she's just bringing up the topic before she cannot control her desires. So yeah.
I mean, you can look at it on a very optimistic note and also the other way around. But I'm gonna be naive. So I think that she just wanna check, she loves the poster, and I think she just wanna see, like, at least she's being open up and being very straightforward. Yeah. So I think we should give her the benefit of being direct and honest. But in a way, the person needs to be true to herself. If this is not something that she's comfortable, and if at the end you foresee that it will make both of you guys go in the bad path, then just call it off. Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta eat veg. So, I think no one is wrong. I mean, I think it's only wrong is when you are being deceptive and you're going behind someone's back and you're like lying to them or something like that. Then that was wrong. So I think as long as you communicate and you establish your boundaries, or even establish that this isn't the right relationship, or you guys aren't meant to be with each other right now, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
And that's it. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Please check us out on Instagram and YouTube and Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere else you listen to podcasts. Yeah, we're gonna be there, and we look forward to seeing your comments down on YouTube. Please like and subscribe everywhere else, and we'll see you next time. Okay, bye.